Right, hello everybody. Today we're going to show you how to actually put an armoured cable using these glands and these little bits and pieces and some armoured cable, and get it prepared and ready to actually be inserted through the hole that I've already cut into here, so that you can wire it up to your breaker box or any other thing that you're obviously wiring up to the armoured cable. The cable I'm using is 4mm cable. That's basically tells you how thick it is, but also the main thing is the rating, that the load that the cable can cope with. So I've picked 4mm because that's more than enough for what I'll be doing in my garage. These are the glands. These are how you connect the armoured cable to the box securely, so that will go in there and then the nut will go on the inside. These particular glands I got from good old Amazon, and it's from a company called Taurus. These ones came with these extra bits here, which after a lot of research these seem to be the best way to do it. A lot of people seem to recommend it. These nuts screw on like so when it's in the box, and then it gives you screw points where you can screw through into your earthing lead like that. The other advantage these have is if you're using a metal box, I'm not sure if you can actually see, but on these there are like little teeth, and those teeth will score the paint off the metal box as it tightens up. So you obviously put it that way on so that the metal box in here, and these will score and give a good earth connection to the metal box, so that the metal box is also earthed. Other ones come with like a round washer with like a little tag on the side that you can then drill through the box. Some people recommend you do that and put a nut and a little bolt through and through onto this, and that does the same job. But today, well, for my job, I'm going to use these, and these actually came in the packet that I particularly got. The other thing you do is you get this like cover, you cut the hole just big enough to slot over the cable, and then once it's actually all in, this slides up and goes over all of that to hide it all nice and neat and tidy. Okay, these particular glands also come with a waterproof rubber grommet, so you pop that over, and then when you do that and it's all together, you then tighten this up, and it stops any water creeping on the inside getting up into the box as well. So it's good for weatherproofing. And on this side is where the actual action happens. The armour is clamped onto this bit here, and then the rest of the cable can pass through, and this is what gives you your secure anchoring of the armoured cable. Okay, right, so generally first things first, we'll move these out of the way, is you need to just work out, depending on what your fitting is going to be. In this case I'm going to come from where it comes in here. I need it to go all the way up round so the wires can join to the earthing and obviously into the top of the breakers. So allowing a few inches for here down to there, so I'm going to make that longer to allow for those wires to come round and in. So it's better to have more than you need, so allowing for the fact that that is going to be in there, we can really start to trim back here. So in my case that's not going to be a lot left of this test one, so what I'm going to do is just do it a little bit shorter so that you get the idea, and then obviously you cut back as much as you actually need to do your job. Okay, a good bit of advice is have a knife. Mine's a bit beat up and old from doing various other jobs. This is the handy tool. It's actually a plumber's cutting tool. Due to the nature of the fact that you are working with armoured cable, a lot of videos will show you to mark off where you are and go around with a junior hacksaw and scoring the armour just enough so that at the point when you need to, you can just wiggle it and break it off. I've found this tool to be invaluable in this department because it saves all the hard work. So once you've measured where you need to take your sleeve, get your tool. In this case I'm going to use my tool. Basically just tighten it up a little tiny bit and go round, tighten it up a bit more, go round, and just keep doing that until you feel it bite into the armour. And I don't know if you can see in the video, you can just start to see the shiny armour. You can see that it's creasing the armour, so I shall just do it one extra little bit, and now you can see that that's gone into the armour just nicely there. Okay, so then what we need to do is take our knife. We can do this because obviously we're dealing with armoured cable, and cut back all this sleeve. Oops, because we don't need that. There we go. So we can now see the actual armour that we've got here. So this is where obviously we need to terminate the armour. So if you unpeel a few at a time and just give them a wiggle, they will come off. And just a few at a time. Give them a wiggle, and away we go, and we'll work our way around. And a good bit of advice, just be careful where you put these, because the last thing you need is to have them lying all around your workshop or wherever you are, and you end up kneeling on one or resting your hand on one, because they can be very painful. So this is now your main outer sheath for your 3 wires. Now in some people's circumstance they might leave that on until they get to a different location before they actually strip back just enough to connect the wires. It's purely up to you. In my situation I would fancy to actually do it a bit more, so allowing for the armour that will now pass through. So what we need to do now is strip back enough of this so that we can expand the armour to go over this grommet here, and then this will be on the other side and it will tighten up over the armour, compressing it onto that, which gives it a tight fit with that there. Okay, so in this situation you would obviously put the various things that you need first, because the other end of the cable might be already dug into the ground or suspended from a wire and would be rather challenging to actually put it on, and then obviously you'd have to take it apart again to do it. This sleeve here, easy way to do it is, I'll use this piece that I've just cut off, push it down, get a feel for where the distance is, and then just cut it off. Once you know where you're cutting, the idea is to have that as a snug fit down the cable and onto where the armour goes, and in this case I haven't done it enough. The more snug you can make it, the better. And there you go. So that's on the cable, and then when the actual unit's on, it will just, that way around, it will cover it up and just adds a little bit extra waterproofing and protection. So we'll slide that down. Right, so we need to take a little bit more of the armour off. I've found that allowing for the fact that this is going in here, this is coming in here, with this nut on here, you need the sheath, this black piece, to still be just in here. So allowing for the fact that that's in there, we're looking at realistically just under an inch. So a lot of people have actually said that what they do is they can use a bit of insulation tape, and the thickness of the tape is probably just about right for where you want to be. So I'm going to give myself just under an inch, maybe 3/4. This time though, we only need to go through the shield, okay, because we don't need to remove the armour this time, because we want that to actually be doing its job. There we go. Okay, so this armour is now going to connect onto this. So a good tip, what you can do is, obviously it doesn't fit like this, so if you get hold of the wire and give it a good twist like that, and do it just enough so that the armour goes all the way around the outside edge. There we go, just like that. Okay, so we'll assume that we have these already on, and then we'll do our bit with the armour cable like so. Make sure that all of it goes over this grommet or chamfer or whatever you want to call it, and this just pushes up. Make sure you keep pushing this way. Once you've got a thread on, keep pushing it hard that way as you turn this to tighten it up onto the armour. I'm going to do mine finger tight because obviously I'm going to reuse this for my actual job. Your rubber grommet one will come on this side and tighten up, and then as this goes into the breaker box like so, we can have this nut tightens up to hold it in place, and we've got a little anchor point for our earthing strap to actually strap onto. And as this is a plastic box, we don't need to worry about the grounding of the box, but we need to make sure that obviously we have an earth running from here in this box up to the earthing bar here, so that we can obviously link other wires and so on to the earth. And then when that's nice and tight, I won't tighten it up myself, this will slide up over everything else and give you a nice finish on your box connection, or whatever it is that you're actually connecting your armoured cable to, a junction box or a breaker box or your device. Okay, I hope that's helped. I'll just remove it again. And obviously the bit that you do here with the wires is just like any other cable, it's just a protective sleeve. Just strip it back and you've got the wires. One extra bit of advice that I can give you is the wires, let me score a bit of this off just to show you. If you're ever doing this, just be very careful, because you don't want to cut the other wires underneath. I'm not too bothered because I have no intention of using this bit of cable. Most armour cables come with this colour scheme: grey, brown, black. Good bit of advice is get one of these. These are coloured sleeves that you can do, and these are in the standard British colours, or if you're abroad, obviously use the colours that work for your particular electric regulations. This way you don't get confused about which one's which, and anybody looking at your system later, several years down the line, will also not be confused, because they'll know which one you've used for live and which one you've used for earth and obviously neutral. You are spoilt because one of them is already brown, so you can just use that for live, but I would always sleeve these two to remind yourself at a later date what you've actually wired up. Okay, so I hope that helps, and any questions, pop them in the comments. If you like the video, please tick the old thumbs up and to say that you like it, and if you haven't already and you'd like to do so to watch a few more of my videos, just click the subscribe and the little bell icon and you'll be notified when I've added some more. Hopefully over the summer there'll be many more coming about my escapades doing various bits and pieces around my house and garden and so on. Okay, cheerio, thanks for watching, goodbye.